1943 Willys MB L134 engine thermostat installation. The thermostat plays an important role in maintaining the operating temperature of the L134 engine. I have here a 170-degree thermostat, which means the bellows will open and allow coolant to flow through at about 170 degrees. One of the issues that the L134 engine has is it seems that air likes to get trapped in the cooling system. One of the solutions is to drill an 1/8-inch hole through the flange on the thermostat. So I'll take this to the bench and exactly do that. The hole will allow for air not to build up in the system, and it won't impede the function of the thermostat at all. I've cleaned the mating surface on the head with some acetone, being careful not to get any debris inside. And I've also cleaned the thermostat housing or elbow as well. The thermostat is inserted into the elbow as such, keeping the bellows towards the head of the engine. The next step is to install the retainer. The retainer holds the thermostat towards the top of the housing or the elbow. The retainer is part number 639651. The gasket is part number 639650, and I'll just take it dry here and make sure it lines up with all the holes on top of the head. Coolant flows and is present in the top of the head, and the bolt holes that are in the head actually are into the cavity of the head. So in order to seal those bolts, I've got some Permatex gasket maker that is specifically designed for thermostats and thermostat housings. I'll apply a little bit into the bolt holes. You don't need a lot here, just enough to coat the threads. After I put a dab in each one of the bolt holes, I'll take the same gasket sealer and apply a thin film to both sides of the gasket. This will ensure a leak-proof seal on the gasket if there's any sort of pitting or deficiencies in the elbow or on the head. Place the gasket onto the mating surface of the head and align the bolt holes to ensure that your bolts will travel through simply and easily. Install the elbow or the housing with the opening on the top facing towards the front of the engine. I'll also apply a little bit of sealant onto the bolts. I just want to be 100% sure that these areas are not going to leak because, again, they are prone to. The next step is to install the 3 bolts. You can run them down just finger tight for the time being. Make sure that they align right with the gasket and don't get hung up as you install them. After you've installed all 3 bolts, use a ratchet and a socket to snug up the bolts, but don't fully tighten them yet because there is a torque value that needs to be applied. After all 3 of the bolts are snugged up with the ratchet and socket, use a torque wrench and set the 3 bolts into an even torque between 20 and 25 foot-pounds. All 3 bolts are torqued up, and I'll go back in now and wipe up any excess sealant. Your thermostat is installed.